and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to give you some simple tips and settings that I'm using within Adobe Premiere Pro Creative Cloud to produce the videos you're watching on my channel. Hopefully you're enjoying the content I'm providing and you're finding the information helpful in some of your own video edits as well. This video that I shot this past weekend was recorded at a video resolution of 2720 by 1530 or 2.7K, which is a camera setting within the DJI Mavic Air. Remember that the Mavic Air can shoot at several video resolutions, and even within the 2.7K resolution, you have multiple frame rates to choose from. In this video, I selected the 24 frames per second, but you can also select 25, 30, 48, or 50 frames per second, and even 60 frames per second within just the 2.7K setting. I mention this because you want to play around with these different frame rates to see what you like to shoot and what you feel provides the best quality for the footage you're shooting. So let's look at what I shot this video with. Worth noting is that I did use an ND8 filter when I shot this over the weekend. It was a nice sunny day, so the ND8 filter was the one I chose for this particular day. Additionally, everything was shot within the manual settings of the camera. I don't typically shoot in auto mode. I like to dial in the settings myself, and it becomes an issue of really trial and error to see what you like as far as your video resolution settings. Once you have the footage you want and have selected the exact clip you want to use in your video, you can start the editing process. Just remember, your footage always looks best when you're not creating any jerky movements within the drone or the gimbal. The slower the movement of the gimbal and the drone, the better the shots are going to look. I prefer to use those clean, smooth shots where there's no movement of the gimbal, as in some of the shots that I've chosen for this edit. I typically cut the clip when I have to move or recenter the gimbal or the Mavic Air to the next clip. Okay, so first thing I like to do with an Adobe Premiere Pro Creative Cloud is create an adjustment layer and make my color adjustments within that adjustment layer. Here's how you can create that layer. Okay, after you've already placed your video in the timeline, from your project window, just go down to the icon that says New Item, left click on that and select Adjustment Layer. Now, I'm using Windows 10 on my workstation, so if you're using Apple iOS, your keystrokes may be slightly different. The adjustment layer window will pop up, and the default to the video settings, it'll default to the video settings of your existing video clip. You'll see the width, the length, and the frames per second rates, all of which should match your existing clip in your timeline, so just hit OK. From here, just drag the new adjustment layer from the project window over to your new timeline on top of the clip that you want to edit. From here, you can drag the adjustment layer length to match your video clip. Now, you don't have to touch the original video, and all the editing you're doing is within this adjustment layer. The benefit of this is if you make a mistake or change something, you can always delete the adjustment layer. And not to worry about messing up, you don't have to worry about messing up the original video clip. So once you have your adjustment layer in place, you can do some simple color grading by going to the color workspace within the Adobe Premiere Pro software. Your menus will probably look different than mine. Depending upon how you have them set up, what I like to do is start within the basic correction menu, and where it says temperature, I'll often cool the image a bit by bringing the slider to the left. I like a little more of a cooler effect in my images, as it seems to make the blues and the skies pop a little more, but this is a personal preference. I'll play with the exposure settings a bit, perhaps small adjustments to the contrasts, the highlights, shadows, whites or blacks. This is going to be adjustments on a clip-by-clip basis, but my favorite adjustment to use is the color wheel. When you select this option, the majority of the time you want to create an S-curve. The left side of the curve is for your blacks or shadows, and the right side of the curve is for your highlights or whites. So I like to pull down the blacks and the shadows a bit and bring up the whites and highlights to get the effect I want. Don't get too carried away with this curve, and often the subtle changes to the curve are best. If you make a mistake when creating a point within the curve, you can reset it by just double clicking within the curve to reset everything. Once you have the color grading you like, one of the keys to getting some nice clean footage exported to YouTube is making sure you're using the right export settings. I've provided a screenshot of the export settings I've used for this specific video. So if you like the way this video looks, you can mirror the export settings I used for similar results. Also, I had someone ask how I get the Mavic Air to shoot what appears to be a droney quick shot, and how it goes out so far. If you recall, the droney quick shots where the aircraft flies backwards and upwards away from the subject with the camera locked on the subject. When I shoot with the Mavic Air, I don't use the droney quick shot mode. I shoot these shots manually. They're actually pretty easy to get and just require a little practice. Simply set up the shot with the Mavic Air in front of you, get everything centered, and very gradually start pulling back up and away from you. I find the results to be quite nice, and I prefer not to have distance limitations, which you'll get when you use the pre-programmed quick shot mode. Oh, and if you like the title intros of my videos, I would suggest Googling a YouTube channel called Orange83, O-R-A-N-G-E 83. They have a lot of videos specific to editing within Adobe Premiere Pro Creative Cloud, and you'll find some free title presets and templates you can use and download for free from their site. Well, I hope you found this information helpful, and if you liked the video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. If you're an active subscriber, I do thank you, and if you're not an active subscriber but found value in the information, I hope you'll think about subscribing as well. Oh, and don't forget to click that bell for notifications of future videos. And until next time, happy flying.